I used to suffer from this problem of migraines. Whenever I'd be out in the sun exposing without a cap or without a scarf and without a sunglasses, I'd come back home with a terrible migraine, which would last me for 2 days or 3 days. But it was exposure to the sun constantly. After my second session, my migraines completely went away. And I was scared in the starting to expose myself to the sun. I tried going out for 2 hours and seeing whether this really works and it's actually real. But then when you explain that it is actually at a astral level where you're healing me, not at my physical body, a lot of other things start healing. And I've really got a sense of contentment and peace, probably, which I've never had at any point in my life. I came to you for a hip joint issue. So it runs in my family. My brother, my father's brother, everybody's gone through something called a hip arthritis, a hip replacement surgery. And I had this fear in the recent year because my pain had started increasing a lot and I wanted that resolved. I didn't want to go through a surgery under the knife, and it was something that was playing on my mind. And I'd heard that Reiki would heal it, but I'd not come across somebody who does it to this level.
What is the benefit that you got after a couple of sessions that you never imagined, neither did I?
Right. So when I came to you for a hip joint pain, after my second session, I realized that my headaches had gone. I used to suffer from this problem of migraines. Whenever I'd be out in the sun exposing without a cap or without a scarf and without a sunglasses, I'd come back home with a terrible migraine, which would last me for 2 days or 3 days. People would make fun of me. They would make fun of me, you coming from India and you have allergy to the sun. And I'd always try to give myself reasons. No, it could be my acidity. No, it could be something that I ate wrong, or it could be something like, some foul smell that has triggered this. But it was exposure to the sun constantly. After my second session, my migraines completely went away. And I was scared in the starting to expose myself to the sun. I tried going out for 2 hours and seeing whether this really works and it's actually real. But then when you explain that it is actually at a astral level where you're healing me, not at my physical body, a lot of other things start healing. And I've really got a sense of contentment and peace, probably, which I've never had at any point in my life.
Do you know other people that suffer from this headache
Yeah.
because of sun exposure?
Yeah, there are many people I've come across, like I've known of people who have the similar thing, but then they are so apprehensive to talk about it because, only somebody who's going through it will know what is the problem. It's like the exposure to the sun, which is actually supposed to be healing for human body, is not helping us and it's triggering us with headaches. And now that's completely gone. And I tested it a couple of times that it's really gone. I used to go on hikes and treks, and I did one recently where I was out from 11 to I think 4 in the evening in the peak sun without a hat, without a scarf, and I didn't get a headache.
For how long have you been suffering from that headache because of the sun exposure?
I think I can't remember,
But
but I
yes.
think something where more than 14, 15 years.
Wow, wow.
Because I last remember after me finishing my master's, maybe 2010. From then, I remember that I do have that problem. Although I didn't have it in my teens, I didn't have it in my 20s, but I do have it from when I was like 2014 or something. Yeah.
Well, that made me very happy because, first of all, I never heard of that condition.
Yeah.
And as I always say, it's not the healer, the one who does the healing.
Right.
It's the spirit, the energy from the spirit that does the healing because it knows what we need, what you need. Now, tell me about the